should be played at high volume. This should be played at high volume. This should be played at high volume. Preferably in a residential area.
The following thoughts on Happy Hour do not represent Cox Media Group or its sponsoring. Anything you hear may and will be used against you. Thank you. Voted as best local podcast in Tampa Bay by the Creative Loafing. You're listening to Happy Hour. You're tuned in to Happy Hour, an hour where Happy rants about something. Sit back and listen in. Happy Hour is on now. Happy Hour is on now.
Yo, what's up? This is Happy Hour. I am your host, Ryan Hoppy. And for the next hour, I have a ton of things to get to. Like sometimes when I do this show, I don't have all the prep ready, and I find even more topics to talk about during the music breaks. But we have a full slate of things to talk about today. So call me, 856-49-HOPPY. That is 856-49-HOPPY, and I will pot you up via Google Voice. Also, tweet at me, at Ryan Hoppy Radio, and I will be sure to see your tweets in real time. Now, I try not to look at Twitter while I'm doing the show, but I'll look at it during the break. If you go to the Google Play or iPhone shop, search up Hoppy Radio, HOPPE Radio, and you can listen to the show anywhere in the world and chat me live. Oh, man, we have so much to get into, but I just want to get this little rant, even though my show's full of rants, this little rant out of the way. I talked about it last night when I did the Facebook Live video while board hopping for the bone, but I want to get into it again. I never, ever want to hear anybody give an excuse, if it's the Hillsborough County Sheriffs or the Hillsborough County officials or Pinellas County, Pasco, or any county in America. I never want to hear the excuse of why Uber should be banned. I never want to hear the excuse of why Uber's bad. Last night, I got a flat tire, and I was able to get to work within 20 minutes, and I actually got to work at the same time that I would have got to work if I would have driven. Also, while I was taking the Uber to come to the bone to run the board, there were plenty of drunk drivers on the road. And you know what could have cured that? Is if they were using Uber. But if Uber wasn't around, whatever, it wouldn't be possible. Also, I played devil's advocate. So while I was waiting for my Uber to come pick me up within 4 minutes, I called the cab company, the one that you see all around Tampa. And I said, hey, it's pretty urgent. I have to be at work within 25 minutes. And they go, I'm sorry, sir. We're all busy right now. We'll get back to you within 20 minutes. So sorry to the cab drivers that don't like Uber. Sorry to the cab drivers that Uber and Lyft is taking away your business. I'm sorry. It's unfortunate when you guys can't come in real time and when there's a mobile app that is clutch and when we are in 2016 and there's a way to prevent DUIs and there's a way to get around fast. You guys did not keep up with the Joneses. You guys are screwed. I'm rooting for the cab drivers. I don't want to see them get out of a job, but they were so comfortable because they had no competition that all of a sudden these mobile apps came in and they are now crap out of luck. I predict the taxi will be the same thing as like a VHS in about 10 years. The whole taxi will be gone and everything will be via Uber. All right, I just wanted to get that little rant out of the way. I know that there's a bunch of crap that happens in Ubers. I know, it's wild because nothing ever happened in cabs. That's what I despise about the media's coverage of talking about Uber. They're like, there was a drunk girl that got into a fight in an Uber, or there was a cab driver that punched a person in the car. Oh, because that's never happened in a cab in New York City. Trust me. Cabbies are supposed to be crazy. You're in a car all day driving anonymous people. So I've always despised when the media reports on wacky things that happen in Ubers, trying to imply that cabs are always safe. So that's just something that really grinded my gears, if I can refer to Family Guy when it was in its prime.
Next on Happy Hour.
All right, I want to get into this. I don't get the entitlement that sport fans have when it comes to rooting for players, and I don't get the entitlement that these cities feel when it comes to players not being allowed to leave. And this goes with the Oklahoma City fan base and the Oklahoma City, just the whole town overall. Now listen. You guys were very lucky to have an NBA team. It was very controversial back in 06, 07, the way that they just kind of left Seattle, where the Supersonics were a pretty good franchise. They had some good times with Gary Payton and Sean Kemp, and they just left to go in the middle of nowhere in Oklahoma City, and they had a budding future player in Kevin Durant. You guys got really lucky, Oklahoma City, that you had a player. And now we all know that Kevin Durant left Oklahoma City and he joined the Warriors, the same team that they lost to a 3-1 lead when it came to the conference finals. And everybody's saying, Kevin Durant can't win without joining other players. Kevin Durant doesn't care about Oklahoma City. No, listen. Kevin Durant's time in Oklahoma City was coming to an end. James Harden isn't there anymore. Serge Ibaka isn't there anymore. We all seem to forget what Tavo Cephalosha did. Kevin Durant's not getting any younger. He doesn't owe Oklahoma City anything. And the other thing that really annoyed me, the other thing that really bothered me, and I'm sorry, Tulsa. I'm sorry, Oklahoma City. I'm sorry you guys had that tornado in June of 2013. And I know Kevin Durant came out. And I know he helped you guys, and I know there was that one image where the whole neighborhood is torn down and you see his jersey hanging. I'm sorry that happened, but just because he did a lot of community service and just because he did things for you guys doesn't mean he doesn't have the right to leave Oklahoma City to go to the fourth biggest market in San Francisco. He wasn't going to win a ring in Oklahoma City. And if you guys want to blame anybody, if you guys want to have a scapegoat that you can blame, maybe you should blame Russell Westbrook. Because there's all these reports out here that Kevin Durant was at the with's end with Russell and just knew he would never win a ring with the guy. If you want to blame somebody, don't blame humble Kevin Durant, who's always carried himself the right way. Blame Russell Westbrook, who is a very selfish and talented player. He's a guy that's never going to win a ring because it has to be about Russell Westbrook. It has to be about him. While Russell Westbrook's in his prime, he will never win a ring. He could maybe be a backup at age 35, but while the center of attention is on Russell Westbrook, he will never win a ring. So I don't get how the Oklahoma City Thunder fans also aren't blaming Russell Westbrook for not passing the ball and for always taking shots. I know he had the triple doubles. I know he had a great season. I don't care. You also need to be blaming him. I just don't get why everybody is so up in arms at Kevin Durant. I liked what comedian J.B. Ball tweeted. He said, you would think Kevin Durant endorsed Trump by the way everyone was reacting, especially with that tweet from 2010 when LeBron James did that whole thing, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5. Remember when he left Cleveland and did the whole decision? And then he went to Miami and they had that whole WWE type party where there's fire and Chris Bosh is screaming like a dinosaur and Dwayne Wade's just dancing. We all seem to forget that that's how LeBron James left Cleveland. I know he came back and he won a ring and everything's great. But then everyone's freaking out at Kevin Durant's tweet from almost a decade ago, 6 years ago, where he said, I don't get why people need to join the Lakers or the Heat to win a championship. And everyone's saying, oh, Kevin Durant's such a hypocrite like LeBron back then. Kevin Durant's such a phony. Is he? Let me explain this to you. Let me break it down for you. Back then, Kevin Durant was 23. Russell Westbrook was about 24. They had James Harden before he became a really good player. They had Tavo Cephalosha. They had Serge Ibaka in their prime. They had Scotty Brooks when the team actually paid attention to the coach. That was the same year that they almost beat the Lakers in the first round. They were an up-and-coming team. That team was loaded with talents. I know it was homegrown, but you can't blame a guy for wanting to leave and wanting to win a ring. And I love all the people that are ripping into him for that tweet. Guess what? We've all sent out tweets that we probably regret. So it's not like Kevin Durant's the one guy ever to send out a tweet that's kind of contradictory and kind of hypocritical. Like, for example, my mom's from Lyndhurst, which is a suburb of Cleveland. And I remember, I think it was 2010, when the Bulls played the Cavs in the first round of the NBA Finals. And that's when Joakim Noah had that legendary clip where he is like, nobody goes on vacation to Cleveland. I'm just hanging in my motel. And I remember I made this whole post about 2 paragraphs about how Cleveland sucked and how much I hated Cleveland. Who would have known 5 years later I would be working in Cleveland on the biggest radio show for about 3 months and that I would thoroughly enjoy Cleveland? We all post things that we regret online. And just because Kevin Durant's one of the most famous players and just because he's joining the Warriors doesn't mean he's a phony and we need to get over ourselves. At the end of the day, we need to realize that sports is a business. At the end of the day, we need to realize that they're not getting any younger and they're looking to win a ring. And I'm sorry, Oklahoma City. I'm sorry that you guys feel like he ditched you. I'm sorry you guys feel like he's a hypocrite. But athletes aren't role models. They're not our best friends. They're not guys we can trust. We don't know what they do behind closed doors. All we know about athletes is what they do while they're on the court, or they're on the field, or they're on the ice, or they're on the track, or they're swimming. All we know about athletes is what they do, is how they perform in front of us. If you go to a game live or you watch a game on TV, all we know about athletes is, as well, if they make TMZ Sports and they get a DUI. And that's when we all act surprised that they're bad people. What I'm getting at is we need to quit putting these athletes high up on this ranking where there are these gods, and we need to respect them and kiss their ass. But then we get surprised when they ditch our favorite teams. They're not our best friends. We're never going to be cool with them. They're doing what is best for them and will help them win a ring. Because at the end of the day, sports is nothing more than a business. So to any diehard sport fans up there that are angry at Kevin Durant, look yourself in a mirror and go, he's just trying to win a ring. And I'm sitting at home talking smack online to Kevin Durant, even though I would never say it to his face because I'm a wimp. And if Kevin Durant did come to my house, I would want to pick and I would want to hang out with him. Because all these phony baloney fans that are talking smack to him now should have appreciated the last decade of basketball. He brought you Oklahoma City because you weren't even supposed to have a team. That's all I'm saying. For the last 8 minutes, call me, 856-49-HOPPY. That is 856-49-HOPPY. Tweet at me, @RyanHoppyRadio, and give my app in the Google Play and iPhone shop. Search up Hoppy Radio, HOPPE Radio, and you can chat me live and listen anywhere in the world. All right, here's the deal.
Next on Hoppy Hour.
I love that music. This really cheers up the mood after I rant. All right, coming up next, there was this old lady who was yelling at this kid outside of this Target as he was selling this box of candy, and this good Samaritan came in and bought all the candy as the old lady was yelling at him. So we will talk about that and more. Call me, 856-49-HOPPY. That is 856-49-HOPPY, and tweet at me, @RyanHoppyRadio, and I will be sure to read your comments in real time during this break on the Facebook Live. We will be right back on Hoppy Hour. After this, do not touch that computer mouse.
Hoppy Hour. Hoppy Hour. NBA D-League coaches, nationally syndicated radio hosts, TV writers, comedians. You never know who will call in a happy hour.
Isn't this beat groovy? You just want to get down to it with your girl. Or maybe you're at home alone, like me all the time. And you're watching Pornhub. Yeah! Woo! What a life. I actually have a date in 2 days, so that's going to be fun. Riveting. But this beat is Erykah Badu with Honey. And I might be weird, but I listened to the song on repeat. It's a really good song. She's one of the most underrated R&B artists of all time, trust me. Call me, 856-49-HOPPY. That is 856-49-HOPPY. And tweet at me, at Ryan Hoppy Radio. We're getting a good response via the Facebook Live chat feature. I saw that Jeffrey LaRoque from the previous show I worked on in Cleveland checked in. Yes, I love me some Jeffrey LaRoque. I appreciate you tuning in. All right, we have so much to get into. So, here's this latest headline. It says, Good Samaritan, and I will explain why, it might not be a Good Samaritan. It's a decent person, but I don't know about Good Samaritan. But here's the headline. Good Samaritan buys $80 of candy from teary young girl who is being harassed by an elderly woman for giving out candy for money outside a Target. Girl was giving out candy outside a Target when she was approached by a gray-haired shopper. Witnesses say the older woman was yelling and harassing the girl. Now, I will play the audio for you after the article, and I want to get your take if you think this is harassment. She even threatened to call the cops when the girl began crying, doing something wrong, and the cops might come. Oh, no. Shopper Jay Lopez came in to save the day, which I will explain when it's not really exactly true. He just kind of made the girl shut up. All right. A Good Samaritan bought $80 of candy after he noticed a young girl being harassed for giving out the treats outside a local Target. All right. The girl, who has not been identified because she was underage, around age 15, was sitting outside the shop in Los Angeles giving out candy for money when an elderly woman approached her and began interrogating her, she said. She came up and said, "Where is your license? Do you have permission to be here?" Valid questions. It wasn't like she was giving out the candy at her house or at a corner or outside an empty shop. She was selling the candy, this 14-year-old, outside a Target where you can buy candy and a bunch of other things. If this was me, 22-year-old goofy-ass goober that's awkward in public, if this was me selling candy, I would have been kicked out. I would have been told to leave, and there would have been no Good Samaritan to back me up. But just because it's a teary-eyed 14-year-old breaking the rules, we're all supposed to feel bad and condemn this old lady. Now listen. This old lady went about it the wrong way, and I will play the clip. She comes in, she's very forceful, she's acting like she's the kid's mother or grandma or role model, mentor, whatever. The old lady probably said too much, but I'm kind of on the old lady's side. You can't just be outside a Target selling candy, even if you're a cute 14-year-old crying. That doesn't make it any better. If it's okay to sell candy outside of Target illegally, because the girl cried, then you should be allowed to punch a cop at age 14 and then go, "I'm sorry," and cry. Or you should be allowed to shoplift and then go, "I'm sorry," and cry. Or you should be allowed to punch the kid in school outside the lockers and go, "I'm sorry." Just because the 14-year-old says she's sorry doesn't mean she should get away with it. And then this Good Samaritan comes in. How is that a Good Samaritan? It's just somebody who's fixing the problem and somebody who's paying off this situation to go away. Doesn't mean he's a Good Samaritan. If anything, the old lady's a good Samaritan for saving the business of Target because this little kid's selling candy outside of Target illegally. This dude comes in and is like, yo, man, quit harassing her. Now, the old lady, and I will play the clip, is trying so hard to be forceful and trying so hard to be a figure, that comes in and says what's up. She's kind of acting like a hard-ass cop or kind of like a mall cop. She has way too much authority. But at the same time, I have to side with her. I just think at some point when I play this clip, you'll notice that she's not getting anywhere by yelling at the kid. She probably should have gone inside. When you go into Target, on the right side is the return area. She should have gone in and just told them what's up and had them deal with it, because every Target has a security guard. That's my thing. I agree with the old lady for coming in and yelling at the kid. I just think she went a little bit too far. All right, here is the audio, and this looks like it wasn't in the best neighborhood of Los Angeles, and the audio is pretty good. It's a cell phone video, so it's not like HD audio, but it's very clear. So here is the audio. As a 14-year-old was outside of Target selling candy, and this good Samaritan comes in and saves the day, I guess, as this old lady was yelling at the kid. All right, here is the audio via the Huffington Post, and you can hear it right now on Happy Hour. All right, here we go.
I am not ashamed.
Well, you should be.
You should be ashamed
Well, you
of
should
yourself
be.
for being so
Well, you
ignorant.
should be. How much candy is there? How much is all that?
Yes, I want to see.
I'm buying it all.
Fine, I want to see.
I'm buying it all.
Okay.
I am going to buy it all. I'm going to give it away to all these people.
Go ahead.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
I am.
What should this old lady be ashamed of? That she was trying to save the business of Target and trying to prevent illegal activity from happening? I get that the old lady's kind of a bitch, and I get that how she's going about it is obnoxious and kind of like makes her look like an old crotchety person. But why should she be ashamed of herself for kind of doing the right thing? And what precedent is this dude saying to the 14-year-old kid where, oh, if you get in trouble, we'll just come by us adults and save you millennials. You wonder why millennials are so spoiled. It's because these older adults, if it's parents, mentors, grandparents, whatever, random people, come in and save the day. This kid should have been in trouble. He's selling candy outside of Target illegally. All right, let me play some more of this audio. I find it fascinating that this old lady is being criticized when a kid's selling candy illegally. I don't get the logic. Do you get the logic? Explain to me. 856-49-HOPPY. That is 856-49-HOPPY. All right, back to the clip.
How much candy is there? How much is all that?
Yes, I want to see.
I'm buying it all.
Fine, I want to see.
I'm buying it all.
Okay.
I am going to buy it all. I'm going to give it away to all these people.
Go ahead.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
I am not ashamed of myself. I'm standing
Yeah,
up for this young person.
Yeah, you're really standing up for them, yelling at them.
Oh, and they take them all around the country, and you should see how they live.
Yeah.
So
They're doing fine. Yeah, I'm the.
This old guy sounds like a real douche. Oh, you're really proving a point by yelling. Oh, she is, because she got attention. If she wasn't proving a point, you wouldn't have come over. Shut your mouth. You're going to be the worst father of all time if you're going to pay the kid all $80 for his candy. I bet the candy's not even worth $80. And if you're going to really pay a 14-year-old kid $80 for candy just to prove a point to an old lady, then you're a sad, unintelligent person. If you think this is okay to sell candy illegally outside of Target. Like I said, if it was me doing it, can you imagine my 6'9" frame? Outside of, let's say, the Target on US 19 in St. Pete's. And I'm sweating profusely because I do a lot, like right now when I'm ranting. And I'm just wearing my goofy clothes. I'm wearing a flannel and jeans. And I'm like, oh, what's up? You want some Skittles or Mike and Ike's? I'd be told to leave in a second. But because it's a 14-year-old kid, hi, you want to buy some candy for our organization of some church group we made up? It's fine for a 14-year-old to do it. I'm just saying, the kids that get away with things at these ages are the same kids that go nowhere in life. There were so many kids at my school that would car hop, or that would sell things outside of shops, or that would do all these crimes, get caught with weed in the car, get DUIs underage. And all that happens is they go to juvie. A few kids I knew in high school are now in prison or going to prison. If you don't set a precedent and if you don't try to have discipline to these kids when they're underage and you're going to buy the candy off, you're not teaching anything. And you're making these millennials nothing more than spoiled brats. So basically, you're further ruining millennials and you're just putting the gasoline on the fire when you help these millennials get out of tough situations. This kid should be in juvie if he thinks it's a smart idea to sell candy outside of Target. Ridiculous. All right, back to the clip. I don't know if you can tell. It kind of annoys me just because there's the bias. Good Samaritan saves the day. Izzy, call me. 856-49-HOPPY.
You're in person here. Do whatever you want. You can do whatever you want.
All of these right here. All of these are 74. All of these 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 10, 15, 20.
I'm gonna come out right now and get your cash.
Oh.
Did you guys hear that? He's like, all the candies $5.50. This one is $7. This kid is like jacking up the prices. You could probably get Skittles for like $1.79 at the checkout at Target, but he's like, I'm going to sell it for $5.50 and then $7.50. And his dumbass is like, okay, whatever, I'll help you out. You're not helping the kid out at all. All right, that's about the end of the clip. I just thought it was odd that the old lady was getting crucified. Now, the old lady's a dumbass. She's not going to prove a point. She's just coming off old and disgruntled. What she should have done is maybe for the first minute yell at the kid and then realize that you're not proving a point and you're not helping out the situation. So then go inside and tell somebody, or if you have to, call the cops. But when you're making a scene, you're not helping out your cause. You're just coming off like a crazy old woman that should be in a nursing home. I'm just saying. Ridiculous. I love the kid though. This one's $5.50. This one's $7.50. I don't think I've ever paid more than $3 for candy. And if I paid $3 for candy, it's jelly beans or it's a big surplus of Peeps because I love Peeps. But I've never been like, I'm going to pay $5.50 for candy or $7.50. I mean, that much candy sounds like a surplus if you go to like Costco or Sam's Club or Walmart or even Target, the shop that he's outside of. I've never heard of one individual candy pack being $7.50. Even a rare candy that just comes back for a limited time, I've never heard of it being $7.50. Just saying.
Happy hour. Happy hour.